Every January, the City of Kalamazoo presents the Dr. Lewis Walker Social Justice Youth Award to an area student who has demonstrated leadership in racial and social justice. This year's recipient was Issra Said, a senior at Portage Northern High School. She was nominated by her teacher, Amanda Thorpe, who also serves as the advisor for the Black History Month Assembly and Empowered Club.
Like food dance, and then we went to Zawish, and every single place we tried to book.
The Empowered Club is full of a lot of really great kids, but Issra is one of the ones who really stands out in terms of she takes her passion and walks it out in every single area of her life and spends her free time just going above and beyond to pursue civil rights. So she was the one that came to my mind for the award.
What motivates me is that, like, with anything I do, I'm learning more, and I'm able to share that knowledge with other people, and I think that's important.
One of the ways she shares her knowledge is by serving as feature editor for the Northern Light, Portage Northern school newspaper. Mrs. Thorpe says that Issra continuously works to bring diversity to the pages of the paper.
When we go through pictures, when we pick articles and things, when we have a student population that's between 10 and 14% minority, a lot of the pictures that we take, might not include students of color just because of the way, students are dispersed in their classes. She's really intentional about making sure that every student sees themselves in every edition of the paper by virtue of cultural representation, and that's an awareness that we didn't have before.
Issra received first place in the 2017 Michigan Interscholastic Press Association News Writing Contest for her personal narrative titled A Question of Identity, My Journey with a Hijab.
When I first wrote it and I submitted it to my teacher, Mrs. Thorpe, she was like, "This is the best thing you've ever written," and I immediately was so happy after that because it's different. Because before then, I just written articles about things that had nothing to do with me that I just was connected to, but I wrote entirely about myself and one of the most life-changing, life-altering experiences.
Dr. Lewis Walker took note of this narrative when he introduced Issra at the Kalamazoo City Commission meeting in January.
As one who stands before you who experienced, at an early age, discrimination and injustice, reading about this young woman sent me back to Selma, Alabama, where I grew up. She too has experienced prejudice and discrimination, not only because of the color of her skin, but because of a headgear, hijab.
And then I can read out loud.
Okay, yeah, that's better.
Issra is involved in many different activities at Portage Northern. Along with leading Empowered Club, she's a co-leader of the Black History Month Assembly.
We don't really look at Black people as achievers and creators, which they really are, you know what I mean? We're still people, and I think that we need to acknowledge that we're great people,
The moments we live in today become tomorrow's history. To move forward and write a better next chapter in our story as a nation, we must talk about some things that might be a little uncomfortable.
She definitely fights to change the whole cultural climate here. We are getting an increasingly diverse student population, and she works to make sure everybody feels represented and valued. Whether it's working with the Black History Month Assembly or working to increase the diversity of the curriculum, to making posters. She made posters that are all around the building that say things like "hate has no home here," and that also encourage people to come to Empowered Club. But she really just tries to keep race at the forefront of our discussions and of our thinking.
I'm happy. I'm more than happy. I'm proud to present this year's Dr. Lewis Walker Social Justice Award to Issra Said. Ms. Said.
Issra is just a really phenomenal student in every sense of the word. She's an IB diploma candidate. She spends her time volunteering just because she loves to, and she really is dedicated to making the world a better place. It's never about Issra, it's always about other people, and that's really rare to find in somebody her age.
Rise like the day, we'll rise unafraid, we'll rise up, and we'll do it 1,000 times again.
I think it's important to share your story just because it opens up a conversation for other people to join in just because they didn't really know anything about it, especially if your story is something different from maybe the majority, just because that's usually the conversations that don't come up and that people are uncomfortable to talk about. And if you don't like break that uncomfortable silence, we're never gonna really truly know about anything or about others, and I think that's important.
It only takes one person to make a difference, and there are 600 of us in this room right now. If each one of us does our part, we can each help make Martin Luther King's dream come true.
We have learned a lot today, but the real question is, what can you do to be part of the solution? Whether it's asking your teachers about what people of color have done to contribute to what you're learning today in class, or simply just being nice to someone who's different from you. We're all capable of using what we learned today to become better versions of ourselves. Thank you, and I hope you have a nice day.
Thank you so much, everybody. You are formally dismissed.
You can read more of Issra Said's columns in the Northern Light, including her state award-winning personal narrative, online at portagenorthernlight.com.